Welcome to Conversations with Sakeina. Today we are going to go through the Bee Tarot, and we're going to take a look at the guidebook within as well as each of the cards. And once that is complete, stay tuned because I will be shuffling really well and asking Sakeina what her take on this deck is. So the Bee Tarot, first of all, I have to say that my camera, although clear, is doing an injustice to the color. The color of the hive behind here is actually honey colored, and mine is showing more of a brown, but it is honey colored. And the bee is also much different in coloring. So if you were to purchase this deck, you would see or get kind of a surprise on how beautiful the coloring is. So this deck is done by Kristoffer Hughes, and the art is done by Nadia Turner. It's a beautiful box, very thick and actually quite heavy. Probably because the book is 296 pages. So on the back it says, up here, ask the wild bee what the old druids knew, which is ancient British adage. Then it says, follow the keeper's journey into the magical world of bees. Through 78 cards buzzing with divinatory energy, best-selling author Kristoffer Hughes explores the symbiotic relationship between bees and humankind. Discover the life cycle of bees, the archetypes of their world, and their mythological and cultural attributes. With Nadia Turner's exquisite art, a premium linen card finish, and Kristoffer's full-color guidebook, this Rider-Waite-Smith style kit beautifully marries bee traditions with tarot wisdom for a hard-working tool in sync with the rhythms of nature. So we have little bees, and this all has kind of a shine to it, as you can see. The lettering. Even the authors' names have that shine. Kind of a neat touch. These cards here also have a shine. And certain portions of the bee and I believe hexagram. Anyway, beautiful box. So if we open, on the inside we have the saying, did the bees understand the mysteries of the druids, or did the bees perhaps give them access to those mysteries? So here we have, excuse the paper I was reading. We're going to close this up for a moment before taking a look at the cards. We have a fantastic book here. And again, my camera is not doing justice to the coloring here. So the back of the book, it says, harvest the sweet nectar of intuition. Bees have always guided the actions of humans, and for centuries, so has tarot. Best-selling author Kristoffer Hughes combines the wisdom of these worlds to produce a powerful deck that gives you clarity and direction. This guidebook takes you through the symbolism and meaning behind each insightful card. Kristoffer elegantly brings the apiary to life, highlighting bee archetypes and their mythological and cultural attributes in the Major Arcana. The Minor Arcana, made up of wands, jars, swords, and pentacles, explores the life cycle of bees humming in sync with humankind. Featuring buzzwords, card interpretations for uprights and reversals, and 6 original bee-inspired spreads, this companion helps you extract the most from your deck. And it is a Llewellyn Books with the current price at $32.99 US. So let's take a look inside. And this book is very unique. I don't know if you can see the edges of the pages. They've done kind of the honey coloring along the edges of the pages too. It's very unique. And we have the bee. Into the hive we go, using this guidebook. And we have about the author, if you kind of want to know what Kristoffer Hughes looks like, and Nadia Turner. Okay, so this is a first edition, first printing, 2024. We have the introduction into the hive, the magical world of bees. Beyond the hive, the magical world of tarot. The Waggle dance, how to read the tarot. The Major Arcana, the Minor Arcana, spreads, conclusion, and acknowledgements. And I did read all the way through the start of this, right up to the cards, and I was very intrigued by the information given in the start of this book. This is one of those that I very much urge you to read the introduction and everything that up to the cards, really. It is that good, at least in my opinion. And then we do have some differences in the Major Arcana cards with the names. So it's showing you here a chart and gives you the Bee Tarot name on the Major Arcana, the Rider-Waite-Smith name, and then a simple meaning, just one word. So in other words, the keeper here would be the Fool, and the simple meaning they've given is commencement. The High Priestess is the Melissae, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, for subconscious. The Hierophant is the Delic Bee, for beliefs. The Lovers is the Honeymoon, for relationships. The Barrow is the Chariot, with will. And then, let's see, are there any other ones? 20, which is Judgement usually, would be Rebirth, transformation. And the rest of them are the same. Over here, with the Wands, Cups, Swords, and Pentacles, they've done Wands, Jars for Cups, Swords, and Pentacles. So they give a little bit of information about those. And they're also kind enough to give information about, or I should say, keywords for Ace through 10. They do a very good job with helping new learners understand how to look at the cards. So how to read tarot. This is the Waggle dance, which is really cute. And I have to share that. Okay, so hold on here. It says, the Waggle dance, how to read the tarot. Honeybees utilize a mysterious system by which they tell other bees how to find a good harvest of nutritional flowers. They do this using what is called the Waggle dance. A worker bee will run a sequence of movements, called a dance or a run, with its duration signifying the distance from the hive to the flower. Combined with an internal sun clock, they use solar navigation to lead other bees to the crop. Whilst aspects of this dance have been decoded by scientists, there are still elements of it that remain a mystery. It is a complex form of communication and storytelling that help guide other bees to a particular destination. Similarly, the tarot is also a dance that runs along a specific pathway, usually called a spread, to offer direction and clarity to a seeker. I just thought the Waggle dance was so cool, so I had to share that part with you. There's more to it, obviously. So then we have the Major Arcana, gives a little bit of information there. And as you can see, it's full color, as often Llewellyn is. And they've got the Keeper right up here, and buzzwords, new beginning, opportunities, taking risks, and then a good amount of information about the Keeper or the Fool, and then it gives information about the upright version and reversed version. We will go through that later. I'll just kind of pull a card at random. And then we go into the Minor Arcana. Again, it gives a little bit of information. And the Minor Arcana cards, they give information about the wands specifically. And then they pop into the wands. And each one of the Minor Arcana cards, again, has buzzwords and a little bit of information about the card. And that includes upright, info, and reversed. So 2 pages, basically, for each of the cards. So then, and one thing that I did notice here, and I know they utilized pages for this, they made the best that they could because this is a long book. But as you can see, the ace has a picture right here as you're reading, and then the upright and reversed pictures, or upright and reversed words, are here. But then the 2 of wands, the picture for that one is back here. So when they're referencing information on the card, you have to turn the page, or you could have your cards out with you. And then they'll go back to the 3rd one, has, you know, the picture on the front. But they would have had to leave a space in between if they were to put the card with this on this page. So anyway, that's something to notice. And then we can go back to, if I can get there, still in the minors. Here's the spreads. So we have the 4B spread. We have the Forager spread. We have the Hive and Flower spread, which is a modified Celtic cross. We have the Waggle dance. And we have the Meadow spread. The Cast spread. And then we have a conclusion. And then acknowledgements. So as you can see, it's a pretty thick book and has a good amount of information per card. So let's get to where we wanted to get to in the first place, which is taking a look at the cards. So as always, we have the little ribbon, and they have put the bees in the base. And again, I really wish you could see the honey color rather than the brown. This is just kind of crazy, but anyway, you know it's more honey colored, as is the back of the cards. So perhaps I can give you, not really, still not showing the golden color that I would like it to show. Okay, so first off, these cards are linen. So I'm hoping, yeah, you can see the crosshatch lines in there to show that they're linen cards. We're looking up here right now. So they're very nice feeling cards. And as a Llewellyn card, obviously these are going to be so easy to shuffle. Super easy to shuffle, as Llewellyn always is. There is a bit of a shine to the cards, but because they are linen, I think when you set them up for reading purposes, I don't think there's going to be any issues with being able to see them or have a glare. Now, the one thing I have noticed is that the linen cards seem to have, and I'm pretty sure you can see the bow here. Now, whether or not that's going to be a thing once they're broken in, I don't know. They don't seem to have that bow as a group, at least not that I can really see. But it looks like individually they might. So anyway, I've never worked with linen cards before. I don't have any except for this deck, so not sure how they actually work. But let's get started. We've got the Keeper, which again would be the Fool. The Magician. The Melissa, or the High Priestess. The Empress. The Emperor. And if you can hear my Chihuahua snoring in the background, he's actually in the other room. I do apologize. He really can get going. The Delic Bee, which is the Hierophant. The Honeymoon, or the Lovers. The Barrow, or the Chariot. Strength. The Hermit. The Wheel, or Wheel of Fortune. Justice. The Hanged One. Death. Temperance. The Devil. The Tower. The Star. The Moon. The Sun. I love that they have all different bees, all different kinds of bees on this sunflower. It's beautiful. Rebirth, or Judgement. The World. Ace of Wands. Two of Wands. Three of Wands, Four of Wands, Five of Wands, Six of Wands, Seven of Wands, Eight of Wands, Nine of Wands, Ten of Wands, Princess of Wands, Prince of Wands, Queen of Wands, King of Wands, Ace of Jars or Ace of Cups, Two of Jars, Three of Jars, Four of Jars, Five of Jars, Six of Jars, Seven of Jars, Eight of Jars, Nine of Jars, Ten of Jars, Princess of Jars, Prince of Jars, Queen of Jars, King of Jars, Ace of Swords, Two of Swords, Three of Swords, Four of Swords, Five of Swords, Six of Swords, Seven of Swords, Eight of Swords, Nine of Swords, Ten of Swords, Princess of Swords, Prince of Swords, Queen of Swords, King of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, Princess of Pentacles, Prince of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles. So that is it for each of the cards here. I'm going to go ahead and do a shuffle here so that you can see if they easily shuffle, which I always have a hard time getting my finger over the top. But they bend so easily. The riffle shuffle is just so easy if you're a riffle shuffler. They just bend really nicely and create a perfect shuffle. If you are one to side shuffle, as I am, working with Sakeina, this is easy too. They have just enough of a sheen to them that they slide quite nicely. And then if you are one to like to do from the side, like this, they do pretty well with that too. I'm not really good at that, so. And for those who kind of, this is your way. I'm not real versed in this way either, but because of the shine, they do very well. They are also reversible, it looks like. Can't really tell reverse from not reverse or upright. So let's just pull a card at random here and take a read. Okay, so we have the Six of Pentacles is the card that I've pulled. I love this. It like shows all the products that can be made, or, you know, products that can be made from honey, including candles and cookies. And yeah, it's just a really cool looking card. All right, so going to the Six of Pentacles here. Okay, so buzzwords are hierarchy, generosity, and receiving. There is a peculiar dichotomy to this card that betrays its apparent pleasantness. The dresser is arranged in a hierarchical fashion that expresses the attitude humans have toward the wider world of bees. On the bottom shelf, we see two plaques, one of a hornet and the other a wasp. Sorry, I'm looking as I read. I think they're talking about this one and this one. We'll look at it on the other side of the card. That'll be, or back side of the page here. Our relationship with these insects is different to that of the honeybee and bumblebee. We have a tendency to scorn them as pests, whilst forgetting what they offer the world. Approaching the cakes is the figure of a common fly, another insect that we may quickly judge as a pest. However much we scorn them, they are nature's ultimate recyclers. On the second shelf, we see safety and the pleasure we glean from the tamer members of the insect world, the honeybee and bumblebee. Notice the hierarchy here. The plaques on either side of the central pentacle are the worker bee to the left, the drone to the right, and above them is the queen bee. This forms a triangle of hierarchy that we see within the hive. On the jar to the right, a bumblebee reminds us of gentility and humbleness. Surrounding these items are objects, that express the gifts that we take from the bee queendom: candles, honey, mead, and nutrition and nourishment of all sorts. The card serves to draw our attention to the generosity afforded to us in our lives and where those gifts come from. We may not fully appreciate the gifts given, just as we may not fully appreciate all members of the bee queendom, but they are there, working away tirelessly for the greater good. Upright, what is the greater good in the situation at hand, and what are the hierarchical structures that play out within it, and how do they impact you and others? We may loathe and despise hierarchy, but it exists on all levels of our lives. There are times when you can give something of yourself that someone else needs, and times when those roles are reversed. This card asks you to be mindful of hierarchical forces that may influence the issue at hand and what your role within them is. Reversed, the situation is blighted by a lack of generosity, where status and hierarchy are used as tools to dominate rather than to share the wealth of kindness. Okay, so here is the picture, a little fuller here. And they were talking about this and this as the wasp and the bee, or no, down here, I think. I'm not sure. Okay, so if we go back, it says on the bottom shelf we see two plaques, one of a hornet and the other a wasp. Okay, so here and here. They don't really look like a hornet and a wasp to me, but that's okay. And then up here we had the hierarchy. Okay, so the drone, let me double check. On the second shelf, we see safety and the pleasure we glean from the tamer members of the insect world, the honeybee and bumblebee. Notice the hierarchy here. The plaques on either side of the central pentacle are the worker bee to the left, the drone to the right. Okay, so worker bee to the left, the drone to the right, and then the queen bee. And then the bumblebee over here. And honey, candles, just beautiful things. And then the top shelf. So this is what the minors read as. It's a good book. And the one thing that I did notice at least in my opinion, I think that each of the minors takes us through what it is like to work with bees. And I do remember reading in the start here that the different beehives in the different suit, or the places where the bees are kept by beekeepers, they are different in each suit. There's a lot to read there. It really was quite fascinating information. And I didn't know that, for instance, the only bumblebees that can sting are females. The males don't have stingers, which I thought was pretty fascinating. Okay, so I'm going to bring this down a little bit, which I should have done before. So I'm going to go off camera here for a little bit and shuffle really, really well so that I can come back and ask Sakeina what her take on this deck is. So I'll be right back. Okay, I am back, and I'm going to shuffle in this way and ask Sakeina to throw out a jumper or two to let us know what it is that she thinks about this Bee Tarot deck. So Sakeina, what do you think? There's one. Okay, and we're going to let her throw out another one if she'd like. And if it goes on for too long, I'll do some cutting of the video here so you don't have to watch the shuffle, or I'll speed it up. Looked like that was one she wanted to throw out. So let's take a look. All right, so that's the first one, that's the second one. So we have the Five of Jars, and we have the Prince of Pentacles. Okay, so I believe with the Five of Jars, Sakeina is saying that this could be an emotional deck for some, in the fact that, I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't see very many honeybees anymore. It used to be that there would be honeybees. I mean, when I was a child, to walk barefoot was kind of dangerous, because if you had a whole bunch of little carnation flowers or dandelions, there were basically a honeybee on every single one of them. Now to see a honeybee is kind of non-existent, at least in my part of the world, and we're in Iowa. As for the deck itself, I think, she's saying that it could be kind of an emotional deck due to the fact that, we are missing the bees. Many of us are actually missing and noticing the bees, and, perhaps thinking that the honey supply will not go on as long as we would like. As the Prince of Pentacles, which would be the Knight of Pentacles, I believe she's saying this is really a fabulous deck to explore. There's many aspects about this deck that would allow us to have a new respect, or a regrown respect, or rekindled, maybe that's what I want to say, a rekindled respect for the flying creatures like the bees. And I believe this one is a wasp, so it's not a honeybee. However, each one has its value in the world for us as humans. So Sakeina is not just giving a, hey, this deck is for this, or, I like the deck or I don't like the deck. She is sharing with us what this deck can actually offer in the way of knowledge. in the way of, learning again about these winged creatures that do so much for the world and for us. So it is a deck for learning about the bees, and perhaps one that, at first can bring out some emotion in us. So let's see if she has anything else to share here. Such as, Sakeina, do you like the deck? Okay, so she's giving us a Two of Swords here. And I think with this card, she's just flat out saying some are going to very much enjoy the deck. They just won't be able to help themselves, and others will be absolutely not. I don't like bees. I don't like insects of any kind. I have nothing to learn from them. So no, I don't think I can handle this deck. So it's going to be a choice decision for everyone. Personally, I was very intrigued with the deck because even though I don't really care for flies and such, because I swear their mothers teach them how to be pestery the second they're born, even though I don't think they ever know their mothers. But there's something so instinctual about these creatures that they know exactly how to do things and what to do. So just out of curiosity's sake, with the Five of Jars, let's see if I've missed some understanding here from Sakeina with this card. Okay, so loss, grief, and regret. We can see a comparison between this card and the Two of Jars. In the latter, the news given to the bees was one of celebration and marriage. Here we see a widow who moves to inform the bees that their keeper has died. A black cloth is cast over the hive, and it is apparent that the figure in the card is in sufferance of bereavement. The treasures of that relationship are now broken before her, empty and discarded, and yet 2 full jars remain. But for some reason the figure is not aware of them, or is purposefully ignoring them. It is tempting to assign the emotion in this card to grief and loss, but it is not exclusively so. This card can often highlight that friendships have broken down, or a situation where one feels that irreparable damage has occurred, along with a sense that there is no going back or fixing the issue. And again, when I was talking about the bees themselves and not seeing them anymore, it is something that, I don't personally know if it can ever go back to the way it was when I was a kid, where there were so many, there would never be a shortage of honey of any kind. This can fill us with a sense of regret and the niggling question, could I have done something to prevent this? There is no escaping the fact that this is a card of immense struggle and pain, but it is internalized. It is not necessarily something that we see playing out in the external world. A person may be suffering the qualities of the Five of Jars, but may not actively express that. Shame and embarrassment for how one feels can confound the situation, but the key to this is the pond that leads to a path toward a house in the distance. So there's the path and the house in the distance. Upright, you may feel that there is no way out of a situation, but the truth is that there always is. But for this moment in time, you need to be just where you are and feel it all. In time, a path from that pool will make itself known to you, and the jars behind you will be taken up into your heart. Reversed, you feel that there is no reconciliation, no way forward, and have descended into a period of self-loathing and pity. This is not conducive to your emotional well-being. The one way of dealing with this card is to accept that loss and grief are essential components of the human experience, and that the price of love is the pain of loss. Okay, so I think it is a teaching deck, is what Sakeina is sharing with us. And it's one that a person has to be interested in, I think, to really be successful with. In other words, if you don't like bugs, you probably aren't going to buy the Bee Tarot. But it would be kind of a shame, a loss, not to try, not to quest, not to see what all it has to offer. But again, it is a choice and isn't necessarily for everyone. So that is what Sakeina has to share. I really do feel as though she likes the deck, and I say that for two reasons. We have two green cards that are heart cards, and the background of this card is like light blue, which is throat chakra color. I think she's saying that it has a lot to say, and that it is also healing, or can be healing, due to the green of the heart chakra colors. There's also the white flowers, which is the higher mind or higher heart chakras. So this is what Sakeina's take is on this Bee Tarot deck. That is it for this walkthrough. I do hope you've enjoyed it and gotten something out of it. And perhaps we'll take a look at whether or not this deck is one that you would enjoy working with. So, until next time, thanks for watching and take care.